In this tutorial, you'll learn a little bit about the basics of visualizing instructional design decisions. Instructional designers often have to deal with very complex and difficult concepts to communicate to clients and other designers. One of the most difficult things to communicate are the decisions that are involved with designing instructional courses or programs. So the variations of instructional design visualizations can span quite a diverse array of techniques and practices. These things may be as simple as a sketch or as common as a syllabus, or they may even be as detailed as computer models that use all sorts of data to predict outcomes of course design solutions. Instructional design visualizations, in all, they help us make better decisions because they help illuminate some of the areas that are often hidden in the design process. They help us collaborate with others because it helps us draw consistent meaning between people. And ultimately, it helps us innovate more effectively because we can look and see a particular model or particular approach and build from that over time. Now, there are several different core approaches to visualizing instructional design decisions. The first are freeform. Freeform visualizations are sketches or drawings. They have very few rules, but they are mostly used in sort of the ideation phases of instructional design. The second are conceptual, and you may be familiar with these from terms like mind maps or diagrams. These help people organize ideas and help bring consistency and structure to the ideas early in instructional design processes. The third is called descriptive. Now, descriptives can be like a course syllabus or a design document. In this example, I'm showing a course roadmap, which is showing the sequence and organization and alignment of a particular course. And the fourth are structural. Structural type visualizations are oftentimes very computational and based. In this case, I'm showing an XML document that is used in the SCORM protocol to be able to organize courses from a programmatic standpoint. And so structural allows us to see instructional design decisions through a new and novel perspective that is oftentimes not considered in some of the other types of visualizations. So let's look at another example. This is Model 1, and what these models are actually going to show are ways that instructional design visualization can be used. Now, Model 1 is a linear instruction. It's based on content presentation and the direct assessment of these methods. So in this case, we have resources delineated by the square icon there. So we have resource, 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 and then the fourth one is actually an artifact, as an assessment. And the little square arrows, stands for feedback. So in this particular case, we're showing a linear piece of instruction leading to an artifact that's being provided feedback on. So in this particular simple visualization, we can see the overall design of the course, of this lesson, and we can see kind of the multiple variables that go into how this particular lesson is going to function. So now let's look at a second model for comparison. Model 2 is a piece of collaborative instruction, and in this case the arrows that face each other delineate dialogue or discussion. And so here we have discussion going on both in a classroom and outside of a classroom that's being augmented by several pieces of resources. And ultimately, these collaborations lead into a central artifact or a central assessment that will be presented. And so in this particular case, we can compare and contrast the varying differences between Model 1, which is very linear and instructivist, and the Model 2, which is very collaborative and constructivist. So just in this particular quick view, we can see these key differences. So using these as an example, instructional design visualizations help us do a few things. They help us understand what it is that we're designing. They help us compare these designs to one another. They help us annotate and draw notes from these sort of things, so we can better help to note what is going on in particular instructional programs. They help us change and modify our instructional approaches. They help us remember things. Sometimes we may draw a note or draw a placeholder in there, and we can be able to remember what our thoughts were at a later given point when it becomes more relevant. And finally, probably most importantly, it helps us share our ideas and our decisions more effectively. Visualizations are a very unique thing in the instructional design process that are rarely discussed, but often surface when we try to share our ideas with others and help to build consensus from these sort of things. And so visualization, when approached from a very intentional and systematic way, can be a very powerful tool for instructional designers to be able to use and to be able to build on their decisions. So this tutorial presented you some of the very basics of visualizing instructional design decisions, and provided you a few examples and tools that you may be able to use as you move forward in your type of visual design and instructional design practices.